welcome back to Up the Villa. Welcome to Transfer Hub, your home of Aston Villa's transfer news, links, rumours, noise, murmurings, incomings, outgoings, you name it. You'll find it here over on Up the Villa and Transfer Hub over the course of the summer. If you are new, make sure you are subscribing. Let's try and get to a decent total come the start of the new season. Let's try and aim for about 26-ish K. Comment your thoughts. This is a big one. This one's going to pop off in the comment section. So get involved and hit the like button. Let's go for 1,000. So we've had big news today about Villa selling the women's team. PSR, done and dusted, sorted. The big difference now, and I'm really sort of glad I'm getting to talk about this now, is with PSR deadline in sight, the clubs that were going to try and pull one over on us, pull a fast one, give us a low ball offer that would make us have to accept it, we don't have to do that now. The difference now is that if anybody leaves Aston Villa, it's negotiated by Monchi for the highest fee possible, and it's with the blessing of Unai Emery that player can leave. Now, that's good enough for me. If Unai Emery deems you surplus to requirements within his system, within his time at Aston Villa, then I think that's all right with me. That is fine by me. And there probably are going to be players that leave in this window. One that seems to be looking for something, and there may be elsewhere of different players in different positions. So that's the big thing for me. Any sale now gets the Unai Emery seal of approval. Whereas before, we were probably put in a position where we've kind of come from what we've got to do something. So we've got a big rumour now coming from The Athletic, and it is of the following. Ollie Watkins on Manchester United's striker shortlist if Rasmus Højlund leaves. So I'm going to read the article, and then we're going to decipher it, and we're going to attack it from every angle. On this one, guys, there's a lot to this. There's a lot of different ways of looking at this potential transfer, and I think it needs our time and it needs our attention. Right. So let's have a look. Ollie Watkins is on Manchester United's list of potential centre-forward recruits in the event that Rasmus Højlund leaves the club. There has been contact between Old Trafford executives and their Aston Villa counterparts via intermediaries to explore the prospects of a deal as United weigh up several striker options. Conversations, and this is the big part, and I think this is the part where it's perked my attention even more. Conversations between United and Aston Villa concerning Marcus Rashford at the end of last season included the prospect of Watkins being involved in any possible transfer. The clubs held discussions despite there being a 40 million option for Villa to buy Rashford. Ultimately, Rashford's desire to join Barcelona put end to that possibility. United's full focus at the moment is agreeing a deal with Brentford for Brian and Mbeumo, and then pushing for their sales, which are required to free up further funds. In the background, they are also assessing the market on strikers, Watkins included. It's not guaranteed one arrives if outgoings are insignificant. At this stage, a check call on Watkins is the extent of the dialogue, with Villa having been looking to see which of their players might attract significant money, including Emi Martinez. Any movement is only expected as the window progresses. Watkins has 75 goals in 184 games for Villa in the Premier League, reaching double figures in each of the last 5 seasons, and is seen by some at United as the transfer target most likely to be a reliable source of goals in England's top flight. Watkins registered 24 goals and assists in the Premier League during the last campaign, only behind Isak 29, Haaland 25. At 29, Watkins would be a departure from the profile of younger players signed by Sir Jim Ratcliffe's investment in United. But the moves of Cunha and Mbeumo demonstrate head coach Amorim's desire for new faces who are at their peak now. From Villa's perspective, trading for a player for significant cash would help solve their potential profit and sustainability rules. That's done and dusted, my friend. That's already done and dusted. Although they have agreed a deal to sell their women's team. In January, Arsenal held talks over Watkins, with Villa seeking 60 million fee. Arsenal valued him at 40. However, the deal never got close to completion. Villa feel Watkins is still worth that larger figure following another productive season. With 3 years left on his contract, such a price would be a major consideration for United, given Watkins is unlikely to have a resale value. United did have Watkins in mind as an alternative for Højlund in the summer of 2003, but then manager Ten Hag and recruitment staff pressed ahead with the younger striker from Atalanta. So, what do we make of that? There's a lot going on there. So, what I'm making of that is that when United and Villa were in discussions for Rashford towards the end of the season, I imagine Manchester United approached Villa and said, look, are you looking to rubber stamp this 40 million deal and get it signed off? I imagine Rashford in that time had probably spoke to Villa and said, I'm looking to join Barcelona. So within those conversations, two clubs talking, Watkins' name might have popped up as a potential suitor. And then that's probably where the conversation has ended. All part of that Rashford talk. Again, like Martinez going to Manchester United, he cannot go there unless Onana leaves. Things have got to happen. Dominoes have got to fall. The little ripple effects of a transfer window. It's not a case of sometimes we want him, we'll buy him, we'll still have our player. What's going to happen with our player? You've got to move your players around, free up space, find suitors. A bit like buying a house. You can't buy a house and move into the house that somebody already lives in. You've got to make sure that your house is sold as well as that player, that house, so you can all in unison move together. So it's a little bit like buying a house, signing players sometimes. So that's where I think it's at. You know, Højlund's got to leave. But then the big thing for Man United, and this is going to be their problem. It's okay signing Cunha. It's okay signing Mbeumo. That they've gone out and they've done their business with the funds that they've got available. 90 million or 100 million looks like that's what they've spent, an outlay of 100 million. They've probably maxed out now. Man United have maxed out on that 100 million. They can only sign players now if players move and that pot of money then starts to increase. But this is the thing. And this is the thing with Manchester United. Why are you going to leave? This is the thing. Harry Maguire, how many times has he been, Harry Maguire's going to leave, he's got to leave. No, he doesn't leave. He sees through another manager. He ends up staying. Players like Dalot, Shaw, who else they got? Midfielders, wingers. Anthony might move. Someone might sign Anthony. That might free up a bit of space. But hey, how do you get rid of them? They're playing for Manchester United. They're sitting on big money. They're sitting on big contracts. What's going to get them out of there? And that's the thing. Who buys them? Who wants those players? I think Højlund's got value. Xerxes got value. Shaw's probably not got much value. You know, so when you're talking about getting, you know, what did they sign Anthony for? They're going to have to sell Anthony for about, what, 20, 25? that mark of what they're signing for. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be low fees. Who wants these players? Who takes that next punt on Højlund? Does he go back in Europe? Where's the money in Europe? So the fees and what they want for their players, it's a completely different story. So I think it'll be very difficult now for Manchester United to sign more players on top of what they've already got, because who wants their players? The thing for players, they all want to go to Man United because they all want to be that guy. They all want to be that person that turns it around. The profile of Manchester United, what can it do for an individual person? It catapults your following, your exposure, and that's a big thing for some players. Some players want that exposure. Other players, it doesn't bother them, but some need it, and that's a big pull. Like for players like Mbuemo, players like Cunha, their profile rises, their stock rises, international stage, all eyes on them, whether they're good or bad Man United. That's just the way it is. So this whole Ollie Watkins thing, I'm going to try and hit it from every single angle, right? Every single angle. This is where I'm going to hit it from. I am a big Ollie Watkins fan. I know there are people out there that don't rate Ollie Watkins and think we should sell Ollie Watkins, and that's fine. And within this chat now, I'm probably going to hit little criteria marks of those people as well. So where I'm at is that he's 29. He's our leading goal scorer in the Premier League. And last season, he scored the most goals for Aston Villa. So he is one of our biggest contributors to goals and assists in this Villa side. So you take him out this side, and our goals and assists, you're looking at Rodgers, then you're looking at Tielemans, then you're looking at scraps of Ramsey, McGinn, Bailey. Those numbers of like 3 or 4 goal involvements. So his level compared to everybody else is far superior than most Villa players that we've currently got. The argument then is he misses too many chances, but so does Salah, so does Haaland. He gets in the right area. The big chances he misses, he might take the smaller chances or the mid chances, or he might take the higher XG chances or the lower XG chances. There's so many different permutations that I don't really buy into. He misses too many chances. A lot of players miss a lot of chances, but he also takes a lot of his chances that he gets. He's Villa's highest Premier League goal scorer in history, so he needs a bit of credit. Players like Bonlahor get a lot of credit. John Carew, Benteke. Yeah, he's played more games maybe, but he's scored more goals than all of them. So I hold him in a high regard. I think he's a model pro, very professional, never in the headlights, a family guy, a really nice guy, hardworking, runs everything off for the team. So he's a player that I'm very, very fond of. Now, are there areas of his game that I think he massively needs to improve on? Hold up play, touch outside the box, definitely. So that's one area that I think, and I always like to look at players and give them, things where they need to work on, because it shows that I'm not just blindsided by liking a player, etc. Then we've got the age, 29. Now, you've got to look at it as a business sense at the same time. Got a nice coffee, guys, as well. Oh, it's too hot in it. Too hot for coffee. So I got a nice coffee. Age, 29. If he is to leave, and let's be honest, this is the time that he would need to leave, in my opinion. So we're looking at it from a different angle now. 29, probably at one of the peak of his powers after the Euros, scoring goal involvements, smashing it. You're going to get goals, you're going to get assists. So he's not in his 30s yet. I think this is peak value now. So if we are to sell him, it technically is the right time. But if we don't sell him, then further down the line, his value does decrease. Now, we've seen that we're clear with PSR, and I don't think that's something we need to worry about now. So, again, we don't need to sell him, but the option of how much he's worth is there. The other option, and the other element we're going to attack it from now, this side we're attacking it from, what does Unai Emery think of him? And this is important. This is important. This is very important, this point. The biggest game in Aston Villa's history in Europe since 1983, when we got to the quarterfinals against Juventus, was against PSG last season. And who was on the bench and who started? Watkins was on the bench for both games. Rashford started. Now, does that tell us anything? I think it's something. Do I think Emery rates him? Yes. But do I think Emery fully, he's my guy, he's the man? I'm not sure. So you've got that element to it as well. Those two games, he went with Rashford, but he didn't go Watkins. There's something there. So you can't have sentiment at Villa anymore. I can't have sentiment. So I can't say, you know what, he's our leading scorer. He's been through everything. He's scored this many goals. That is the reason why we should keep him. I don't think you can do that. We're not in a position to do that anymore. We're in a position to win. We're in a position to succeed. So where are we at? Then the other element is, who do you get? What's the market like? I personally, deep down, believe that if we were to sell him, we'd look for a different type of striker. I think we'd look for more of an Ekatike, a Walter Marday. Look, I'm not saying Isak, Sesko, player that drops a bit, touch, lay off, get in the box, create edge of the box. Because I look at Villa's build-up and I look at, we're not counter-attacking anymore. And we're not fully trying to stretch every opposition. We're patient, we're slow build-up. And that suits a striker to me that drops more, that takes more touches, that gets involved in build-up. And I actually don't think that's Watkins' game. So if we were to sell him, that's the type of striker that we would be looking for, in my opinion. But who's out there? They cost a lot of money. So I've rambled on a lot, and I'll come to my conclusion now. I wouldn't sell Ollie Watkins in this window or this season. I think we still need him. We still need the goals. We need the assists. And we need other areas sorting out. Right back, right-sided centre-half, second goalkeeper, left-sided player, backup striker. We can't be looking for a backup striker and a striker, a backup keeper and a right back and a left-sided player and a right-sided. You're giving yourself far too much to do. We're not in the Champions League next season. We've got a Premier League striker that knows where the back of the net is. We're in the Europa League. I don't think we need to sell him right now. And I don't think he'll go either. I don't think Manchester United will be able to afford him. And I don't see him leaving to go to Manchester United. And I don't see him leaving to go anywhere. So for me, you stay on the wall, kid. You're staying on the wall. Right, so I feel like I need to add someone else on the wall. We've got some space like there and there. So I'm gonna add something. So I'm gonna do it in pre-season. I'm gonna add something there. So I feel like I've gave a balanced viewpoint on a lot of things and come to the conclusion that we don't need to sell him. And that's where I'm at. So Villa fans, let me know your thoughts. It's going to be a big talking point. So let me know. Up the Villa. And I'll see you on the next one.